Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the multiverse of 100 plus data science project series. In this video, we're going to be creating here an logic puzzle solver using DeepSeek R1. So, without wasting any time, let us start our tutorial right now. Well, so in order to creating here the logic puzzle solver using DeepSeek R1, we need to install some of the important library just like PyTorch, and also the Gradio so that you can create in the interface for that, and also the Pilo library so that you can load the images from our directory, and also the EasyOCR. OCR stands for optical character recognitions, so that you can extract in the textual data the number from the images. Also the Grok so that you can loading our large language model called DeepSeek R1. So I'm simply going to shift enter to installing here Torch, Gradio, Pilo, EasyOCR, and the Grok. And you can see here it already updated. It's already installed in my system. The Google Colab. So first what I can do, I am simply going to importing here the easy OCR. So let's say first import easy OCR. Then I'm going to importing here the Grok. So let's import Grok. So then after that, I need to give it here my Grok API key, as well as I need to initialize here the reader for the easy OCR. So I can using here, let's say easy OCR dot reader. So inside this reader, I can initialize here my language. So let's say English language. And then this is nothing but my reader. Let's say READR reader. Now I need to initialize here the Grok API key in here so that you can access our large language model. So for that, just you need to go on the Grok Cloud workspace. Then you can go and check out the API keys from here. So that's our Grok Cloud workspace, or you can say the dashboard. You can just go on these API key sections and you can create the API key from here. So you can create the API key and you can give it here one name. So let's say logic. So I'm going to click on submit, and then it will give me one kind of API keys. So I can copy it from here. And if I go inside these documentations and inside these models, you can see here there are so many models are available. You can access it freely. It's open source. You can also access here the DeepSeek R1 distilled Llama 17 billion model on here. You can also access here the vision model. You can access the reasoning model. You can also see that how can you access this Grok library using Python. So you can using this by installing pip install Grok, that you already do that. Then you can also pass it here this API key inside your client. You can give it here content role, and you can do the completion of the chat. So now I am simply going to using this API key so that I can access here this DeepSeek R1 model. So I'm going to initialize here the Grok API key. Let's say Grok API underscore API underscore key, and then I'm going to pasting here my API key. Okay, so don't copy this out. I'll delete it later on while we're actually completing here our tutorial. Then after that, I need to creating here on client for the Grok Cloud. So I can using here, let's say client is equal to, let's say, grok dot client, and inside that I can pass in here my API key. Let's say API key is equal to, let's say, Grok API key. That's with Grok API key. Now our client is ready, as well as our reader is also ready. Now you can simply go into creating here a function so that you can also pass it to our interface as well. So we can create a function. Let's call def. Let's say def solve puzzle. Okay, and you can pass in here one image, because this puzzle is just taking one image. So you can uploading here one image. Let's upload one image. So this is the image that I'm going to using it here. Let's say using this image, and I'm going to click it to open. Now you can see it will uploading the image inside our Google Colab workspace. Okay, so it will taking one images, and then I am simply going to start in the puzzle from the images to send it to our Grok API key. So in the Grok API key, you're going to using here the DeepSeek R1 model. So first, what I can do is simply going to save it inside an image path. Temporary image path, so that you can uh, actually use it when uploading the file on here. So let's give it here a name. Let's call uploaded. Let's say uploaded image.png. Temporary image file name. And after that, I'm simply going to saving the image. Let's say image.save. And then inside that, I'm going to give it here my image path. Let's say image underscore path. So when I'm calling this solve puzzle, it will try to creating here a temporary image path uploaded image or png and try to save it inside our directory, so that it will temporarily saving this out. You can also accessing these images from your Gradio interface, as well as you can access these images from the your Google Drive. So that's why this temporary path. Now after that, I am simply going to extracting here the data, I mean textual data from our the pictures. So that's our picture. If you can see that in our picture, okay, it's not visible. So I need to visible it inside my picture. So let's try to close this tab. So I'm going to open in this image right now. So if you see the images, you can see here we having number, we having also operators. So as well as you can see here one question mark as well. That's mean it is starting here of the numbers and the operators from our pictures, right? So we can extract it easily. So we can simply going to go on here and to extract it using our reader, because we already creating here our reader for that. So let's start using here the reader. Let's say reader dot read text. Okay, let's say read, and you have the function called read text, and you can pass in here the image path. So okay, so sorry for the interrupt actually, just because of my laptop activity is disturbing a lot. I don't know why the brightening level is actually auto decreasing. Okay, just leave it. Okay, so we pass in here our image path. Now let us store it inside a variable called results. Let's say results, and now we having all of the data in our result variables. Now you can access it using for loop, because this is nothing but the list of data. So you can access it using for loop. Let's say for ref in result. So let's say results. So you can use it list comprehension, so that you can join it later on, because this is one textual data. So you have to add it something in the textual format. You can using the join method. So you can use it here. Let's say ref one index number one. Then you can using the join method. So let's say we can add here inside the list comprehension, and you can using here inside a join method. So let's say dot join, and inside this method you can join all of the thing with its string. So you can simply going to add it to np string. Now the data we got it inside our result, it will structured into any string format. Now we have our structured text. So let's say structured text. So that's our data. That's mean if I passing here these images, it will try to using this one. Let's say 1 plus 4 is equal to 5, like that, because this is nothing but one string. Now we're going to taking this string and try to pass it inside our large language model. But we need to also standardize the textual data, because you can see that in our these images we having one single question mark. It should be it having the two question mark as well. So if I see these images, let's say white. So if I uploading another images, you can see in these images it having a two question mark. You can see that it having two question mark. So while passing this data inside our large language model, we have to passing this data in the form of one question mark. So you can also standardize the textual data. So you can using here, let's say extracted text. Let's extracted textual data, extracted text, and you can simply go to replace it. Let's say replace, and you can using here, let's say if I have the double question mark, we can simply going to replace with the single question mark. Okay, we can use it this one. Okay, single question mark, just for simplicity. So you can pass it to the same variable. Let's extract it textual data. Okay, so this is how you can replace the one string to the another. Okay, so if I have the two question mark, we can simply going to replace it to the one single question mark. Now if the question mark is not in the structured test, if the question is not here, so you can add here one another question mark as well. That's been in your images. If you don't have any question mark, it's just a blank. So you can also adding here one question mark itself, so that our large language model can get one notify that yes, it's an questions. I mean it can be an logical puzzle. Okay, so you can simply go into check it right now. Let's say if the question mark, let's if the question mark not in, okay, not in structured test, then you can simply going to add it to here. Okay, that's when it's simply going to give it to our large language model, yes, this is an questions. Okay, so we can add it to the this one structured text. Okay, that's been what I actually do. First actually read all of the textual data and try to taking all of the data from here and try to join it and making a single string. And after that we simply replacing this double question mark to the single question mark. And also if the question mark is not available in our images, so we can simply go to edit this out, so that our large language model can get one clear verifications about the problems. And now what I can do is simply going to painting this one. Let's try to painting here our extracted text. Let's say extracted. Let's extracted text, so that you can see this one. Okay, so we can give it to here extracted text. Let's say extracted text. Okay, let's try to running this out. Okay, we don't have any GPU right now. I don't know why. Okay, it's running right now. You can see you can also change your runtime type in the form of GPU. Okay, because I running this code so many times before, that's why my GPU limit is gone for right now. Okay, so you can see here to try to getting here Grok API key, and also it is extracting the data and try to execute the EasyOCR model. Now you can simply go using this solve puzzle method, so that you can extract in the data from the images. So for that you can using the PIL library. So let's say from PIL we can import here the image. So using this image, we can simply going to opening here our image. Let's say image dot open, and you can simply going to pass it here our image. So let's first try to solving. Copy this path and try to pass it to here, so that you can read the images and try to store it inside the variable. Let's say this is the image. Now you can call in the solve puzzle method and passing here the image itself. Now let's running, and you can see here started test. Okay, so 1 plus 4 equal to 5, and 2 plus 5 is equal to 12, 3 plus 6 equal to 21, and 8 plus 1 is nothing but the what. Okay, so you can see that how quickly it will extract the data, and also you can see it is creating here a temporary file. So you can also using this one as well. So if you have the two question mark, so if I am simply going to removing this out and try to keep it to here, then you can see here if we have the two question mark in these cases, it's converted into one single question mark. Okay, that you can see on here. Okay, in our example cases. Now we're simply going to refine the structured text, because let's say I having one textual data. Let's see if I'm going to uploading here another images. So let's say I'm going to uploading here these images. You can see here it having the multiple sign, but this is not a multiple sign in the case of mathematics in terms of computers. Okay, so it should be the static signs in the case of computers. So we would also replace them. So you can simply going to selecting these images and at uploading this one. And if I using these images, it is unable to getting the data correctly. If I give it to here, then you can see it will simply going to correctly getting the data. You can see it automatically try to convert them into statics, but in some kind of cases it not maybe give you the good results. So it's a best practice so that you can refining here textual data. That's been actually talking about that. If you have one data which is a cross, small cross or the capital cross, you can see in the cases it's try to configure this one, but in some kind of cases it unable to configure this easy OCR. So it's better we can refining this textual data. I mean, this coming from our started text. So let's try to define the text. Let's say define. Let's say define text, and then we can simply go into structured text using structured text dot replace. So if I have one single x, and you can simply going to replace them with the static signs. Okay, because a static sign is actually understood by our computers. Then we also replace. Let's say replace. We can simply go into, let's say you're having one a capital X, I mean cross sign. So you can simply going to convert them into static signs. And as well as if we have one replace of, let's say we're having simple one equal, so you can just give it here some kind of spaces on here. So you can give it, let's say space and equal space. Okay, and then you can using his strip. Okay, that's his strip. That's it. It's called defined text because some kind of cases easy OCR is unable to stack the data, and are unable to configure the operators. Okay, so that's why we can refine the text. So let's say refine it. Let's say print here the refined text. Let's say define text. Okay, let's define text, and then you can simply go into pass it here. Let's say refine text. Okay, so you can simply running this out so that you can got in here our output, and you can say define text. Okay, in some kind of cases it's unable to actually stack the data. Okay, but in this case you can see that it correctly configured in these ones. Okay, that's not a problem. And also you can see here it will giving here on a space. Okay, you can see in this case it's not giving here the space, but in here it will give you the space after defining the text. Okay, That's when it also define the textual data. Now we need to give it here one prompt. That's our puzzle prompt. So let's say puzzle prompt. So it's better I can type it and I pause the video and I will come back when the typing is completed. Okay. So we write down the prompt here. So that's what prompt you can see. You are an AI specialized in solving puzzles. I mean, we give it here one role, and that's called the role prompting. So analyze the following, identify hidden pattern or roles, and provide the missing value with step by step reasoning in text format. Step by step. That's been chain of thought prompting engineering. Okay. Then we just give it here one actually text. That's a puzzle and define text. We passing it here, and we also give it here some kind of format based on the response. So let's say format your response strictly as follow. So first is called given equations. I mean, the equation is coming from the pictures. Then also pattern identify, because in the puzzle you need to analyze the pattern, which pattern is following. Then step by step calculation. So that we need to also do the calculation for that for the puzzles. And then we have the final answers. So this is nothing but the prompt that you can give it to your puzzle. Okay. You can also write it in your own way. You can, if you give here one code prompt, obviously you can get here one better results. Okay. Now we need to send the request to our DeepSeek R1 model. So in the case we're going to using here the DeepSeek R1 distillated of the Llama 17 billion model. If I go on the Grok cloud again, if I go inside this model sections, so this is the model that I'm going to use it here. DeepSeek R1 distill Llama 17 billion. This is an distillated model. So I can copy this out. I can copy this out and I can go on here and I am simply going to writing here first client. Let's say client dot, because you're already creating here our client. You can see client for the Grok Cloud API. Then you have the chat. Okay. Then you have the completion. Let's say completions dot create, because this is a chat model. Okay. And inside that I'm going to passing here the model that I copied. Let's say copied model. Then I'm going to passing here the message. So let's say messages, and inside this messages I can give it here first one role. So let's say that's my role. Let's say role, and inside this role I'm going to give it here the user role. So user, and then inside that content I'm going to passing the puzzle prompt. So that's the content, and I can pass in here the puzzle prompt. So it should be puzzle prompt. You can also go to the Grok Cloud API section. You can also see on here, you can see it having the header. You can give it here your API key. Okay. You can also go inside this Grok library, and you can see that it having the role, it have the content. You can give it to here inside your chat completions. Okay. I just follow this documentation, to creating this projects, right? So go on here and we can pass in here the puzzle prompt. And now after that, I'm going to give it here the temperature. So let's say temperature. So what is the temperature actually? So if I go on the background, and you can see it having the temperatures. Okay. So it actually controlling the result. Okay. So temperature, let's give it here 0, because we don't need structured more. I mean, don't need the one or two results, just we need the one results. And then we can give it a max number of the token. That's a max number of tokens. It's same thing. We take it from here, max completion token. You can give it up to you. So let's give it here max tokens. So tokens, let's give it here 1000. Let's give it here because you need to also get here one big results. So it's better you can give it here one maximum number of the token that is taken by our models. Okay. Now we can simply going to start in the response on here. So let's store it inside a variable called response. Let's say response. Okay, response. Now we need to start in the response from our response variable. So let's say if the response, okay, response and response dot choice. So response dot choice, because it may be the different kind of choice in our responses. So we can try to taking the choices from here, and then we can simply going to try to returning here one data from here. Let's say return here response dot choices. Let's say choices of the zeroth. We can passing here the zero choices, and we can passing here the messages that is coming from our last language model, and you can simply going to take in the content and you can strip it so that you can print it to the next line as well. You can see responses to choices, because it have the multiple number of choices in the case of here. So otherwise we can simply going to give it here one statement that are error messages. Okay, let's say error, and let's say no response So would say no response. Okay, content from API. Okay, that's the API. So you can also add it inside you try and accept blocks. If you getting some kind of internet problem, if you are getting the problem regarding your model, if you are getting any problem regarding your images, or if you're getting any problem regarding your API key. So you can simply add it to your try and catch block, but it's not try and catch in the case of Python. It's nothing but try and accept block. So you can simply going to put it to inside and try and accept block. So you can simply going to put it down. So you can put it down inside this try and accept block. So you can simply going to give it here. Let's accept. Let's accept, and you can give it here exception. Let's say exception, exception. Okay, issue exception as e, and you can simply go into returning here the exceptions. So let's return it in the if string. Let's say error. Okay, let's error in a string, and you can passing to here one inside the curly bracket. So let's say string of e. That's it. That's it. And now we can simply going to running it here. Okay, invalid syntax it's called. So we have in the create 17 billion. Anything wrong? Yep, you have to give it here on comma as well. So let's running this out now and try to see the result. Okay, so that's the puzzle you can see. Okay, if I see the result, it's say 21 is the result. Okay, so it's try to it's better you can simply go into uh, print it here. Let's print, and we can simply go into see this uh, in a goat manner. Okay, so you see that we getting 37 in the given equations, and the missing multiplier is nothing but the 21. That's our result, right? That's our result. We can also run it and again. You can also run it again because we give it the max token is nothing but the 1,000. So after 1,000 it will visible invisible all the things. Okay, so you can see that answer is nothing but the 21. Okay, you can see that answer is 21. So you can simply go into opening out here our calculator. So you can simply go into opening here the calculator. Let's say start calc. So our answer is 21. Let's say 37 into 21. We can see that is 777 777. Okay, it's 777. So that's our answer. I hope so. That's our answer. So you can see that 777 is nothing but our answer, right? It's our answer that you can see on here. Okay, so that's mean it is the puzzle is really working very fine. Okay, so 777s. So you can uploading here another one. So let's say copy this out, and we can simply going to paste it to here. So let's paste it to here. It's quite annoying. I don't know why this brightness level is going again. Okay, and you can see that we got in here answer is a 96. Okay, this is nothing but on viral IQ. Okay, 1 plus 4 equal to 5, and 2 plus 5 equal to 12, and 3 plus 6 is nothing but 21, and 8 and 11 is nothing but the 11s. Okay, I mean 96. That's the answer. So it's better we can pass it inside one interface because we don't see the images, right? We don't see the images. It's better we can see the images as well. So we already actually install the Gradio library, so you can using this on. Okay, so you can simply go into importing this. It's quite annoying. Let's pause the video first and try to uh, record it again. I mean the next parts. Now let's try to creating here our interface using the Gradio library. So first I'm going to importing it here. Let's say import Gradio as gr. Then I can simply go into creating here interface. Let's say gr.interface. So if you're actually creating this out in your local machine, you can using the Streamlit, or you can also use here the Flux to creating here these applications. So I can pass it here first of my function that I created. Let's say function is called solve puzzle, solve puzzle. Then after that I can give it here one inputs. So our input is nothing but one image. So let's say gear.image, and you can give it here the type. So give it a type as the pillow. So it should be pin. So that's why you need to installing this library called pillow. Okay, so that you can use it to the Gradio library. So you can see you're also using the pillow library to opening the images. So the Gradio library handling this inside that it will handle this automatically. So you just give it a type as a pillow, I mean pill, and we need to output in the form of textual data. So let's say output, okay, it should be the outputs is equal to the text. Okay, so let's say text. Now we have to give it here on title. Let's give it here on title. So let's say logic puzzle, okay, let's say solver. Okay, and then we can give it here on description. Let's say description. So description, let's say upload an image of a logic puzzle, and the model will solve it for you. Okay, let's say for you. Then after that, what I can do is simply going to launch the interface. But before that, you need to also store it inside a variable. On here, let's say interface. Okay, and after that, we can simply going to give it here. Let's say interface dot launch. Okay, it should be launch, and you can simply going to passing here debug is equal to true, so that you can also debug it out. Okay, that's true. That's it. You can also add it here one theme as well. So it should be interface. Okay, let's try to running this out and see. So okay, we need to also give it here one comma. Now let's see the interface. It's quite annoying. I don't know why it's happening in the case of my keyboard. I think I need to replace in this keyboard, my laptop keyboard. So let's clicking on this link, and it will opening here in a new window. So that's our interface. So you can also add it here some kind of theme. So now let's click on here, and let's selecting here one images. So let's selecting here this one and click on open first, and you can see upload the images. You can see the images as well. Now let's click on submit and just waiting for the output. Yes, it's taking a few amount of time. So you can see that the answer should be the 18. It say that in this case. So let's try to clear it. I mean, resubmit it, and let's waiting for the few seconds. You can see answer is nothing but 18 in these cases. Final result is nothing but 18 for these puzzles. So you can selecting here another one. Let's clear this out and try to selecting here this one, and click on open. And now let's click on submit. And let's see the output what we got on here. Okay, so you can see that output is nothing but 96. 96, that's our final answers. That's also good. And let's try to click on here and try to uploading this one, and click on open and click on submit. So you can see that you can also see the output as well. Okay, in the same time. So you can see that you got the output of the 21. Okay, started just because of the 1000 is nothing but the maximum number of token. So that's why. So let's try to click on submit again and see the output. I mean, waiting for the final results. Okay, so you can see now it started in this step number 3. You can see, so the missing value is nothing but the 21. I mean, result is 21. So what you can do actually, you can simply going to increase your token size. So you can simply going to access your token size. Let's say if I'm going to giving here token sizes, let's say 2000. So I don't know it will accessible or not, but I hope so we can access it. So let's try to see this out and try to start it this on. If I give it here, you can see 96 we got in the results. If I change the max number of the token, it will give you some kind of code output. But in this cases, you can see after this one it is started. Okay, so we can click on here the link again, and you can loading here the application again. Okay, so you can change the maximum the token size because it's needed on here. So you can give it to here and images. Let's give it to here and click on open, and now let's click on submit and waiting for the output. So you can see it's taking time, not that time actually. So you can see answer is nothing but the 21. Okay, so you can increase the your token size as per your need. You can increase this out. Okay, because how many token it is processing and how many tokens it will try to give it here as output, it's up to you, because you're a coder, right? So that's it for today now. And you can see that how can you creating here one logic puzzle solver using DeepSeek R1. So thank you, namaste, and bye bye.